everyone, welcome back to Breathe and Bake. Today we're going to make a recipe that is very near and dear to my heart, which is sofrito. Some of the ingredients that I'm going to talk about today, you might not be able to find in a regular grocery store. I actually go to a Caribbean market that is by me to get a couple of these ingredients. But the nice thing about sofrito is that you can really adjust this. Many families, many people have their own recipes. So if there's a particular herb that you don't like or a particular herb that you want to add, you can go ahead and make it your own. Or if you want to add more peppers, more onion, or more garlic, or less of any of those things, you could do that too and really make a recipe that fits the tastes of you and your family. I included the recipe in the description. I am doubling, maybe tripling the recipe. What we tend to do in my family is to make a huge batch at one time, and then we give it to each other to use in cooking, or I should say because sometimes we make really big batches. We take some and keep it in the freezer, so you always have like a jar in the fridge to use, and then you have extra in the freezer to replace that when you run out. Sofrito is great to throw into rice, to throw into beans, to throw into soups. I use it sometimes as a marinade. You will see everything that's in here. I'll walk through that soon, and that way you get an idea of the kind of flavor that's packed into it. So it's a way to get like a ton of flavor into your food really easily because you did all this work ahead of time to prep it. There is no cooking involved. All you need is a blender and a cutting board and a knife, because this is all stuff that we're going to throw into the blender, and then that's all that needs to get done. You put it in containers, and then when you need it, it's ready to go. The ingredients that I put into mine, my grandmother used most of these ingredients, plus other stuff she used to throw in there as well. She used to throw like different bouillons in and things like that. I like to keep mine very herb and vegetable based, and then if I want to throw in additional seasonings, I do that when I'm cooking. So this is one herb that I either find at a regular store extremely overpriced, or I find it very cheaply priced at the Caribbean store, and it is culantro. So you might know cilantro, which we are using as well. Let me just hold it up. So here is cilantro, which many of us are used to from different types of Latin American cooking, as well as some Asian cooking uses cilantro a lot. And then this one you might be less familiar with, which is culantro. So you could see that these are long, slim, they kind of have this like jaggedy edge along the side, and to me it really has like a lime kind of scent to it. So those are the two herbs we use, culantro and cilantro. And then I use two different kinds of peppers. So one is just a regular bell pepper, any color. I have red. I usually do like red, orange, yellow, but if you want to throw green in there, you can. And then these are another one that I get at the Caribbean market. These are ají dulce peppers. They're little sweet peppers that are multicolored. Again, if you can't find them, you can substitute a different kind of sweeter pepper for them as well. And then we're going to put in an onion, a couple of tomatoes, and not all this garlic, but a lot of garlic. And finally, there's a lot of different brands that have this, but it is a sour orange juice. that helps to liquefy all the ingredients and put it together. And then some salt. So what we're going to do first is we're going to prep the ingredients so that way we could just toss it into the blender and get going. I already rinsed off the herbs. I actually rinsed off all of the vegetables already and cleaned them. These little peppers, what we're going to do is just take off the stems, and I'm going to do that with a paring knife. And then I'm also going to cut it open so you can see there's not very many seeds in here, but you can pull them off if you'd like and toss them. I keep a garbage right next to me because then it's super easy to keep my cutting board area clean. This is, like I said, a recipe that typically we would make together in my family. So if my grandmother was alive, she would be doing it, my aunt would be there, my cousins would be there, and myself, and then we could help, or a lot of times we just watched her put it together. But we did help her kind of chop and prep some of the ingredients, or run around the kitchen and get her whatever she needed, or get more bowls or more trays. As we blend, not all of this is going to fit into my blender, so typically what I would do is either get like a tray or get a large bowl. I probably am going to do a tray, so that way you can just keep on dumping into the tray, and at the end mix it together so that way you have all of the ingredients together combined in the batch, and then you can start portioning them out. Next up, we're going to prep our bell peppers, and we're going to do that just by really moving our knife around the bell pepper, and we'll leave the inside intact. That way we don't have to worry about the seeds. These came out pretty clean. If you have some with this white on it, you can go ahead and just gently cut that off because this could be a bit bitter. But mine came out pretty clean. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, next up we're going to dice our tomatoes into eighths. I love the smell of like the fresh chopped vegetables and the fresh herbs. It just smells incredible. And it really brings back memories of my grandmother when I smell these ingredients all together. Especially the culantro. That is something that I only really use for this recipe, so the smell of that really brings back great memories. For the garlic, we don't need to chop it, we just need to peel it. An easy way to do that, carefully, is to put the clove of garlic on your cutting board, put the knife flat, and then with the heel of your hand, do not put your fingers anywhere near that blade. You bang down on it, and that helps release the skin of the garlic. So I'm gonna do this about 18 more times. So I'm putting lots of garlic in mine. When my grandmother would make these, she would actually just buy the containers that have the already peeled garlic, which is not a bad idea. Last ingredient is an onion. So you can see how much flavor is going into this. So if you're making a rice and you take a spoonful of this and mix it in, it is getting garlicky, and it's getting the onion and the peppers and the tomatoes and the herbs, so it's just really packed with flavor. I'm just gonna turn this into big chunks. See if I can get through the rest of this without crying. I'm already feeling it. Okay, I think I made it. Maybe. I still smell it strongly. Okay, let's clear this up. Okay, I have my pan ready over there. I have my blender ready over here. We are gonna start throwing things in, blending it up, tossing it in the pan, and then we'll mix it all together at the end. We don't want to lose any of this. Then I'm going to stir this so I can combine the couple of batches that I did, because maybe in one I might have had more cilantro and one I might have had more onion. So I want to make sure that I'm combining them together. Oh, my eyes are still watering from that onion. Oh, okay. Look how pretty that color is. If you know any tips on onions not making you cry, let me know in the comments. I already put my onions in the fridge because I heard that that helps, but obviously it still happens. All right, I'm gonna give this a little taste to see if I want to add any more of the sour orange or any more of the salt. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt, but it tastes so good. It's like so fresh. And again, when you taste it, keep in mind you're not going to be eating scoops of this. This is going to be blended in with your bean sauce, with your rice, with other things. So you really are trying to pay attention to like the balance of flavors and if it has all of those kind of notes that you want. That might be a little hard to get to at first. So maybe you follow the recipe as is, cook with it, and then you're like, oh, okay, that was the right kind of flavor combination. Or when you cook with it, you're like, oh, I wish it had more powerful garlic flavor. I wish it had more cilantro or more onion. And then you can adjust that next time. But I am just going to add a bit more salt. And then we are good. So I will show you a few ways of how we kind of keep this. So what I'm going to do for in my fridge, I'm going to fill up a mason jar. So that way, anytime that I am cooking something, that I could just grab a spoonful or two and toss it in, or more, depends what I'm making. This one is going in my fridge. I am going to put some in a container. I have two just in case it doesn't fit into one, and that's going to go in my freezer, so that way when I go through this, I can then replace it from one from my freezer. Like I mentioned, this is my preferred method, is to double or triple the recipe. That way I have it for a good couple of months. Already prepared, and then I can make it again when I'm running low. So thank you again for joining us for another episode. Please let me know if you try this and what you think, or if your family has their own recipe, let me know what ingredients you put into yours that might be different.